Hey guys! Oof. Welcome to October 22nd. And once upon a time, my friend was having a birthday party, and we went to the movies to see Alice in Wonderland, which, those of you who do not know, I am obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. And then we went to her house for like a sleepover. Like, that was the plan that she wanted to do for her birthday. And there was like 9 of us. And we sat at the very top, in the very back, like right corner. And it was me sitting in the aisle with someone next to me. And then my friend was sitting behind me, and she was sitting next to somebody. And then her brother was sitting with 4 other people in a line on that top row. And so we were roughly sitting together. And the group of people that I was with was having way too much fun in the middle of this movie theater. And the thing that makes this, not the greatest situation is the fact that the movie was playing. So people are in there trying to watch this movie, and, we're having this birthday party at the movies, and they are talking as loud as I'm talking to you right now in the middle of the movie. And they're laughing and being really loud and disruptive. And I'm sitting there watching the movie because I absolutely love this movie. I've read all of the books that I can and hope to find more that I could read. And I've seen, some of the movies and stuff already. So I was like all the way into the movie and everything. And, so they're talking, and because they're being loud, one of the other people who was in the audience got up and went and made a noise complaint about my group. And that person came back, sat down and was watching the movie or whatever, and it was kind of like a little warning, like, okay, well, if it happens again, let us know. And, people, they were being loud enough for people to, like, want to turn around and shush them. And they were being loud enough for people to just look at them. And at one point, they started throwing popcorn at people. And they thought it was really funny because they didn't like that they were being shushed. So they'd be shushed, and then that person would turn around and they'd throw a piece of popcorn. Well, at one point, because they were doing that and laughing, this lady turned around, and right as they were throwing a piece of popcorn, and it hit her in the eye. And they thought it was the most funniest thing in the world. So they all start busting up laughing. And it was either her or someone she was with that went and made a second complaint to the staff and the security or whoever, that they are being loud and they're laughing and throwing popcorn, and that one had hit her in the eye. So they had made a second complaint about it and came back, and they were laughing, and then they were talking about how people were making complaints. And, well, my friend, she was like, you guys need to stop because people are going and complaining and stuff. And no matter how many times she said to stop, they were still being loud. And then they said something funny, so then she got going and was laughing and stuff. And then it was either her or somebody else, but they got a phone call. And they took the phone call and was talking on the phone, again, how I'm talking to you now, if not louder, in the middle of the movie. And they're laughing and all this other stuff. And so someone went and made a third complaint. So this time, that person came back with like 2 or 3 security guards. And so whoever was on the phone got off the phone, and they came up, and my friend's brother, he didn't want his sister to have to get in trouble with the place, and he was like, well, I've got this. and stuff. And so he said that the 4 of us wasn't a part of it, and it was just him and the other 4 that was at the top with him. And he told his sister to just stay there and wait for him to come back and to not follow him. And so they went down with them, and then I think it was me and the person I was sitting next to were the only 2 people out of the whole group that wasn't being loud and obnoxious during the whole movie. And so I wanted to sit there and continue watching the movie. I was like, they were being loud, let them go, I don't care. But then what had happened is my friend got so worried because they were down there for a while. They were down there for like 5-10 minutes and hadn't come back yet. And so she was like, I'm worried that he's getting in trouble or whatever. And like, because of all of that stuff, she couldn't sit and enjoy the video as much as she had liked to. And so she was like, guys, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to see what's taking him so long. And when she got up, the others got up and they went. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, now I have to get up and go, because the entire group of people that I came here with and is my ride home is now leaving. So I don't get to stay and finish the movie and stay out of trouble. I have to go with them. That was my thought process. Now I'm wishing I had just taken my chances and stayed sitting down. What I would have done after the movie, I have no idea. They probably would have came and got me. But yeah. And so we go down there and she's looking for them, and she asks somebody like where they went. And they bring us over towards the room that the others are in. And the cops are asking us questions. They're like, well, do you know these people? And everybody else is like, no, we don't. And then there's me. And I'm like, yes, I know them. We came here with them. And because in my head, if we didn't know who they were, why would we have come out of the movie and asked them where they were if we didn't know them? Like, if we weren't with them, why would we care to stop watching the movie that we're watching? You know? Like, it doesn't make sense why they would all, like, stand there and lie. Plus, I don't like doing that. So it's like, I'm not going to tell them that, no, I don't know them, but I'm down here looking for them. Like, what sense does that make? So I was like, yes, we know them. I came here with them. Like, and because of that, they opened the door and they added all of us to the group of the other people. And her brother had told her, why'd y'all come down here? We almost got to go back up there on a warning without anything else happening. And now that you guys came down here, now we're going to be in trouble. So, had she not come down with everybody else, none of us would have gotten in trouble. They would have been able to return back to the movie, finish the movie, and go home. But because the rest of us came down, and I didn't want to lie, so I told them that we were with them. Because, I mean, it's kind of obvious, if you ask me. But we got put in there, and then we all needed to get our IDs out and show them our IDs so that they can see all of our ages. And then they were putting they were taking our pictures so that they can get it into their system, and they were giving us a trespassing notice. I don't know how we're trespassing because I fucking paid for the ticket so that I could be up in the video. But yeah, so they were giving us all trespassing notices. And then they were like, okay, well, all of you guys have to call your parents and have your parents come and get you. And if they don't come and get you, you have to stay here. And like if they don't have anybody to come and get you, then they were gonna take us and we would have to spend the night in jail. So, you know, my worrywart ass was sitting there crying because I have never, I'm a goody tissue. Okay? I don't get in trouble with the law. Like, no. It's not that hard to follow some rules when you're out in public. Okay? One of which is disrupting a fucking video while it's being played. So I was sitting there, and because I was crying and everything, everybody that was there was like, no. Don't, like, they were telling the police officers to keep me out of trouble, that they didn't want none of it to fall back on me because I was the only one sitting there being quiet. Like, they thought I was asleep because of how quiet I was. Because I was actually watching the movie. I wasn't, like, talking to them. I wasn't laughing. I wasn't throwing things. I was not being loud. I was just watching the movie. They paid for me to watch this movie. I am obsessed with this movie, so I was sitting there watching the movie. You know, kind of what you do when you go to the movies. You sit, you eat some popcorn, drink a drink, or some food, or whatever, and you watch the movie, and then you go home. And then you spend the next 2 weeks talking about how good or bad the movie was. But because I was with everybody else, they let me, well, I don't know if everybody else got a trespassing notice, but they let me off on a trespassing notice. And then they explained to the officers that I was there for a birthday party, and that my parents, I was going over to her house after this to stay at her house. And so, because I was going home with them, and they're like, well, that's fine, but she still has to call her dad. So I had to call my dad and let him know that I was getting in trouble with the police at the movie theater, and that they won't let me go until he picks me up. And so he had to drive all the way over to the movie theater to meet up with my friend's dad and everything to pick me up. And we all were banned from the movie theater for 2 years. And then I chopped all my hair off with a pixie cut. Long in the front, short in the back. It was supposed to be, like the length of my hair because it was down past my butt. And so the front was supposed to be as long as that, but then they messed it up. So it was all shoulder length. And so, and it was either their cameras weren't working or something wasn't working. So they couldn't have like a picture ID in their system so that if we were to come back, they'd be like, no, you can't be here. So I definitely went back before that 2 years was up, but I had shorter hair. And it was, the 2 years had almost been up by that point. And so nobody realized that I was even there. But yeah. So that was like the scariest thing ever. And I thought that I couldn't get a hold of my dad at first. Like I called him like 3 or 4 times and he didn't answer his phone. So I legit thought that I was going to spend the night in jail for being here. And I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. I'm like, I don't want to go to jail. That they will eat me alive in there, because especially when all I've done is go to a movie and everybody I was with disrupted the movie. Like, I'm like this little fish guppy in a pond of freaking sharks at that point. Like, no, thank you. Get me out of here. Like, not trying to do it. No, not trying to do it. So yeah. So that's what happened to me. Honestly, my dad walked me out of the building, and then I don't remember if he drove me to their house or if we drove. Oh, okay. I remember. They said that my dad still had to be there, but I could leave with my friends. But they wanted to make sure that I had a parent figure that could show up and let them know, hey, this is what is going on. Like, they wanted to physically see that I had my parent there. And I had to walk out of the building with my parent. But then after that, I was able to do that. So he either drove me to their house or I went ahead and got in with my friend, and then he went back home and I just went home with them. And I thought I was going to get in trouble and then I couldn't go back over there, but they allowed me to, so I did. And yeah. So that was some stuff that happened. So the end, that was my whole story. I got a trespassing notice, and that's the worst thing that I've literally ever had happen to me, in that sense. So, yeah. Have you guys ever had something like that happen? Let me know down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this story and you would love to hear my other stories, check out my playlist, October. I will leave the link to that video down below. My next video will have a tad bit more light because this is just not kind of cutting it, I don't think. It sucks because first I have candles on, so the room is like warming up and it smells good because I got a bunch of candles. I've got 4 there, a 5th one in the bathroom, and a 6th one on my dresser. So I got 6 candles going. So the room smells good and it's warm because of all of that. But then the sun's going down, so it's getting dark. So I plugged in mine and my sister's lights that we have. And yeah. But I think if I'm going to be recording videos, I'm going to need the actual light on. But anyways, yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so that you can see my videos when I upload them. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!